Hello. Welcome to TPP. And this is about Lauren Boebert's wayward son. At what point do we stop calling Tyler Boebert legal's problems youthful mistakes and start talking about a pattern? And what kind of environment did Lauren Boebert raise this child in? Because Tyler Boebert is 21 years old now, and I want to establish something right at the beginning. Lauren Boebert is not responsible for crimes her adult son commits or is accused of committing. Tyler is responsible for Tyler. But Tyler didn't suddenly appear at 18 years old with a driver's license in his hand and court order paperwork in the other. He was raised somewhere. He was taught something about rules, boundaries, responsibility, and consequences. Apparently, he didn't learn anything. And then when the legal problems keep coming, I think it's fair to ask what happened before he became an adult. Play this clip.
Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert's son is facing 22 charges, including 5 felonies for allegedly breaking into cars and stealing credit cards. Rifle police say 18-year-old Tyler Boebert was arrested Tuesday after a string of vehicle trespassing and property thefts. 4 charges include criminal possession of ID documents of multiple victims. Tyler Boebert was granted a personal recognizance bond and is due back in court in April. In a statement, Lauren Boebert said, quote, "I love my son Tyler, who has been through some very difficult public challenges for a young man and the subject of attention that he didn't ask for." She added, "As an adult and father, Tyler will take responsibility for his actions and should be held accountable for poor decisions, just like any other citizen."
Wow. Now, Tyler's earlier legal trouble wasn't a speeding ticket or getting caught with a beer. He was arrested after police investigated a string of vehicle break-ins and property thefts. This boy was out there doing the damn thing. He originally faced numerous charges, including those felonies, and he pleaded guilty. That's not a useful mistake. Like sneaking into the house after a curfew. That's criminal court. And he ultimately pleaded guilty to attempted identity theft. For as a part of a lesser charge, I'm assuming. That's not a useful mistake. Like sneaking into a house after the curfew. That's criminal court. Lauren Boebert actually said something that after that arrest that I agreed on. She said Tyler was an adult and needed to take responsibility for his actions. Absolutely. Sometimes loving a child means saying, baby, I love you dearly. Now go explain that mess to the judge. But here's the problem. That wasn't the end. Tyler later had additional legal troubles involving his own child. In one case, he pleaded guilty to misdemeanor child abuse. In another incident, authorities alleged his young son wandered away while Tyler was supposed to be supervising him and almost got hurt. And this is where he's young starts running out of mileage for me. Yes, young people make bad mistakes. Some of us were complete fools at 18. But there's a difference between being young and repeatedly ending up in situations involving police, prosecutors, and judges. At some point, he's young, has to clock out, and sir, why do you have another court date? Has to kick in. And now we have this.
And Representative Lauren Boebert's son has been arrested in Garfield County on felony charges. 21-year-old Tyler Boebert was arrested last Thursday, but court records indicate the alleged crimes took place in January of 2024. He was arrested, accused of sexual exploitation of a child, among other charges, including 2 charges of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. He was released on Sunday on a $10,000 bond. Tyler was previously arrested on a separate string of break-ins in Rifle around a month after the current alleged crimes took place. Congresswoman Boebert had this to say about her son's recent arrest, saying, quote, "I love my son. We take these allegations very seriously and pray for everyone affected during this challenging time."
Tyler Boebert has been arrested again. 5 felony charges related to delinquency of a minor, child sexual exploitation. Let me be precise because these are extremely serious allegations. These are charges and allegations, accusations. Tyler has not been convicted of these new charges, and a court will determine whether prosecutors can prove them. The allegations reportedly involve a video from 2024 when Tyler was 18 and the girl was 17, I don't need to exaggerate that. The allegations are serious enough. What interests me for this conversation is that Tyler was reportedly already awaiting sentencing in two unrelated cases when this newest arrest occurred. And I'm sorry, but that's when I start using the word pattern. One incident can be an aberration. Two incidents may make me pay attention. When we're discussing multiple criminal charges and another arrest comes along before you finish dealing with the previous two charges, I'm no longer looking at each incident in isolation. I'm asking what is going on with this boy. What's wrong with his mental? And yes, I'm also asking what kind of environment he came from, okay? Because Lauren Boebert has spent years participating in a political movement that has plenty to say about everybody else's damn family, values, personal responsibility, and morality. Okay, then family values can not only be something we examine when the family votes Democratic, okay? If you're going to lecture America about the personal responsibility, I'm allowed to ask what personal responsibility looked like inside your house. That doesn't mean Lauren created Tyler's problem. Parents don't have that kind of control. Good parents sometimes raise children who make terrible decisions, and children from dysfunctional homes sometimes become brilliant adults. That's no formula, but parenting establishes the first boundaries a child encounters. This is where you learn that no means no. This is where you learn that actions have consequences. This is where you learn that other people's property belongs to them. This is where you learn that being angry doesn't give you permission to do whatever the fuck you want. And most importantly, this is where you learn what happens when you cross those boundaries. That's why I'm asking the question, what did accountability look like in his family? Because children pay attention to what adults tolerate. You can preach responsibility every day of the week, but if the consequences are constantly minimized, negotiated, or explained away, the lesson a child can learn is not responsibility. The lesson can become somebody will fix it. Now, I don't know whether that's what happened in Lauren Boebert's household. I wasn't there, and I'm not going to pretend that I was. But repeated behavior gives the public a legitimate reason to ask questions about the environment, especially because this family has experienced plenty of publicly documented turmoil. Tyler's parents went through a contentious breakup. His father had his own legal trouble following family disputes. There have been public allegations, police involvement, and family conflict. None of that proves Lauren caused Tyler's behavior. But when we're asking about environment matters. Children absorb chaos. They learn from what happens around them. They watch how adults handle conflict. They watch whether rules matter. They watch whether consequences stick. And eventually, those children become adults who have to decide what they're going to carry forward and what they're going to leave behind. Tyler has reached that point. He's 21. He's also a father himself. Woo! So whatever Lauren did wrong, whatever happened inside that house, Tyler owns Tyler now. That's the hard reality. Your childhood may explain some things. Eventually, it stops excusing those things. And when you're a parent yourself, there's another child depending on you to get it together. That's why I don't want to hear this bullshit about this reduced to Lauren's poor troubled kid. Nope, he's a man. And if prosecutors prove these newest allegations, then he should face the consequences the law provides. If prosecutors cannot prove them, he shouldn't be convicted simply because he's been in trouble before. That's just how the justice works. But regardless of what happens with these new charges, the larger history doesn't disappear. That's what I'm talking about. He has a pattern. He has a pattern, Congressman.